Kia ora koutou. Welcome to HR Chats with me, Radar, where we chat all things HR. And today we're talking, professional development. I have got Amy Clarke with me. She joined HRNZ in July 2021, has a broad background as a generalist HR across the private and public sector. At a recent NZHR Award, she was a finalist in the HR Generalist of the Year category. She was the winner of the Leadership Award. She was named HR Person of the Year for 2020. She has a passion for diversity and inclusion and is currently HRNZ's Manager Professional Standards and Development. And part of her role is overseeing HRNZ's Professional Standards and Development Framework and ensuring they deliver good quality content to members through all of their channels. Kia ora, Amy, how are you?
Kia ora, Radar. I'm great. What an intro. That makes me sound like I've done heaps of cool stuff. How
Like,
exciting.
intros are great, really, aren't they? God,
They're a real
quite often, if
ego
you don't,
pump, aren't they?
they really, sometimes I just turn up to things just to hear my intro.
I don't blame
Hey,
you.
look,
It sounds like a great plan.
look. I tell you what is a great plan. Moving on professionally. So, professional accreditation. There's a new professional accreditation process for chartered membership. Can you bring us up to speed on that?
Yeah, sure. So, what we did at the end of last year was we introduced our new capability framework called the Path. So, all of our professional accreditation processes are aligned to our frameworks. And so, what we had to do was align what we were doing with our professional accreditation, that's our chartered membership, and our emerging professional membership. And we just had to make sure that the standards, what we were measuring people by, they aligned with the new framework, which was a bit of a fundamental shift from the old framework. So it was a really exciting opportunity to get to look at what we were saying were kind of the standards for HR practitioners and what we wanted people to be striving for. So that's, I suppose, kind of the prompt for the new process. So I suppose a key difference in terms of what we had and what we have now is the shift away from just looking at technical competence being the most important thing. And now we're looking at much more of a mix of behavioural, values-based HR practice and also bringing in technical capability. That's obviously still a really important part. But what we're saying is that HR leaders for tomorrow need sort of a more well-rounded and holistic approach to their HR practice. So that is I suppose, the core, the heart of this new process. And we call those things, that magic, the essence, our core capabilities. So they're kind of the things that we use as the measure of good practice for this new process.
Yeah. So, I guess these changes have been coming for a little while, have they? Are they sort of following international trends and various things? There's been obviously a lot of discussion within HRNZ and the HR community.
Yeah, so I think, we've seen this shift of if I could use old school HR, air quotes, which is more of a reliance on just understanding the technical requirements. So very compliance driven practice. And what we know now is that doesn't necessarily get the best outcomes for people, for organizations. If we look at what is what's that magic, what's the special sauce, what gives HR practitioners the ability to come in and make a real difference and kind of support the systems and improve people, it is this understanding that they need personal credibility, they need technical knowledge, they need environmental awareness, they need leadership and influence. It's this amalgamation of these things that we weren't really able to kind of recognize with the old framework. And think, yeah, we kind of think we're much better at having a holistic view of lots of things in workplaces now. We see this excellent trend of well-being, wellness being much more front and center in how we support people. We see bicultural practice, particularly in Aotearoa, about how we sort of bring te Māori into what we do, how we lead and practice HR in a really tikanga-led way. These are all things that our new framework kind of allows us to recognise. So it is, it's different, but I think it's really exciting and it's really cool. And I think the other great thing is that the old framework, we were really only able to recognise experienced generalists within that system. And with this new framework, we can recognise specialists, so sort of deep experts in different areas of HR, which is awesome because the old framework, it meant that we were essentially excluding this huge part of our professional cohort family whānau. And now we have the ability to say these are the things that are key, and this is how we measure you, and it doesn't matter what discipline within HR you're in, these things are fundamental and everybody needs them. So I think that's cool. It's a process that's been built by the HR community in Aotearoa for the HR community. And yeah, it's really a framework for everybody rather than just being for sort of a select group of people.
Sounds like a rich and well-rounded source. If I'm sitting there as an HR professional, I'm thinking, oh God, what does that actually mean for the application? Is there a new, what are the assessors looking for, I suppose, in the new process, and is it different from the qualities under the previous process? It certainly sounds as if it opens it up a lot more.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way of sort of putting it. I think it does open it up more. So what we did when we were setting up the new process was we were really careful that we've obviously got lots of people within the profession who have been chartered under the old system, myself included, and we wanted to make sure that the standard was high, that we found a way to sort of bridge between old and new, and bring those people along the journey, because the skills that people that have been previously chartered, the essence is there. So we wanted to be able to create a bridge for them, help them understand what it meant to be a chartered member now. And I suppose one of the key things is understanding that there are within our capability framework, the sort of the standard for somebody that's at a chartered member level, we call it at a leads level, that's where we have that match between sort of the level of the old framework and accreditation process and the new. So it took a long time to sort of set where that was. We tested it with lots of different practitioners, with people who were chartered and were looking to be chartered. I think fundamentally, it is different, but there are a lot of similarities. And I think, experienced HR professionals, whether they're generalists or specialists, they have that magic sauce. So it's just about saying, this is what it looks like when you demonstrate it under these new core capabilities, and this is how you can continue to be awesome, and you can kind of continue to lead into the future.
Yeah. Look, there's probably people out there who are chartered, who are listening to this, but there are people who are thinking, oh, I wonder if I should get chartered. Why should people get chartered?
I mean, I think there's so many reasons. Let me count the ways. I think
Go on.
it's a really important step in validating the professionalism of HR. Other professions have their own mechanisms. These mechanisms, like chartered accountants or lawyers or doctors, they kind of give confidence to the people that they work with, whether that's as a business owner, as a stakeholder within the business, as somebody who's looking to recruit an HR person, doesn't really know a lot about HR, but they think, or they know that they need an HR person. So it gives that credibility, the confidence to people who are working with HR folk, that this is the level of, this is the sort of the standard of expertise and practice and experience that this person has. The kind of the ingredients or the criteria for chartering is all published on our website, so anybody can access that. It's quite cool. You can go in and say you were a hiring manager, or you were somebody that was wanting to support an HR person. You can go in there, you can understand what it is we're measuring people against. So I think that's a really cool, I find that quite empowering myself, to say, this is what it means to be chartered. This is the mana that it has. This is what we can do, and it's kind of a really good tool to prove our professionalism, I suppose. I think the other really cool thing about it is that continuing professional development is important in any career path, whether that's HR, finance, health and safety, whatever. And so with chartering, and this is consistent with the old process, but we sort of have a way where people can, they need to keep up with their CPD points, so continued professional development, every 12 months, which means that in order to sort of stay at that level, they need to engage with different aspects of professional development. There's a huge broad variety of what that looks like. But I think that's really important, as HR folks, we need to be agile, we need to be looking forward, and we need to be reactive and reflective of what's happening around us. So for me, that's a nice thing about, HR is evolving so rapidly, and it's super important that people continue to develop their skills and they don't get stuck in their ways. And so CPD is a good discipline, good practice and habits for people to get into.
Yeah. Is it an onerous process you just go through? What do you have to do? You need to write an essay, sit an exam, get a whole lot of references? For someone who's sitting there thinking, because I know there will be people who know, but there will be others who maybe are new or are moving up in this, who are into the system thinking, oh, sounds like something I should do. Do I have the time?
Yeah, so we're in the process at the moment. So a little plug, we've just released a new website. HRNZ has a brand new awesome website, and a big driver for that change was to make the member experience, better and easy and seamless and awesome. And part of that, we're working on the final touches of it now, but is digitizing the application process for emerging professional and chartered membership application. So it's easy now. It'll be even easier really soon. The process, it's not onerous. If you have an updated CV, if you've got some references to hand, if you've got, sort of 20 minutes to half an hour to sit down and kind of concentrate, that's really all you need. And in terms of kind of the actual so you submit your application, we have a look at that at head office, and then if everything looks all tickety-boo, it looks like you're able to meet those criteria and those standards. Then we put you through for interview with some of our assessors who are chartered members themselves. So they've been through the process, they understand what a great chartered member looks like and what skills they have. And then it's sort of a little bit like a job interview, but much friendlier. So I suppose we want the process to feel it needs to be, we need to be able to make sure that people are at the standard, but we don't want it to be scary. We don't want it to be intimidating. So I suppose that's if I could let members who are thinking about this know anything, it's that we want to make this process as easy and as welcoming for people as we can. So, if you've got questions, if you're not sure, you think you might be at the right level, but you just want to test some things out, email head office. We're happy to have a chat to you. We're happy to, if you need, walk you through that application process. We're here to help however we can with that.
Because I imagine there might be people who, maybe a bit anxious, thinking, was it too soon? What if I apply and I don't get chartered? Do I have to stand down for a period of time? For anyone who is a little, anxious, well, how does that process work?
Yeah. So the interview is normally takes about 50 minutes. It is, so if you've done a job interview, this will be even easier than that. But I think that the important thing to remember is that if you're in a position where you're being put forward for interview, we've said everything looks great. We now just want to hear a little bit more about you. We want to hear about what your skills look like, how you've used those in the past, and then also what you're looking to do to kind of give back to the HR community. That's a big part of being a chartered member in particular, but also an emerging professional, is how are you going to give back? How are you going to engage with mentoring or kind of help be a good steward for the standard of great HR practice?
So for people who may apply and they're really they're not quite there perhaps, or they've got a little way to go, there'll be a process, that you can say, hey, look, you're here. If you do X, Y, and Z, that will get you up to the next level, and we can progress from there.
Absolutely. So, it's never a no, it's a not quite yet. And we don't have many that sort of fall into that category. And so if that does happen for whatever reason, we've got quite a good process where we get the assessors to give lots of feedback, normally in head office. Particularly if it's really close, then we might go back and ask a few more questions. But sort of for us at HQ, we want this to be a process that people want to come back to. So we need to make sure that people feel engaged, they understand, it's really clear the things they need to work on. And our new framework really helps us with that as well. So we have really tangible things. It's you were giving us examples from this level, and what we need to see is some things from this level. So is there any kind of additional evidence or explanation that you can give to sort of help just shift you a little bit higher? Or if not, here are some things that you can get involved and engaged in either your workplace or maybe outside of your workplace. It might be something that you look for in your next role, and then you come back once you've got that, and we sort of not circumvent, but we can sort of put you back in where you were in the process before. So
Yeah.
if we can, we retest with the previous assessor, so there's that continuity there, so that
Yeah.
it's a friendly face and you kind of, yeah, you know who you're talking to.
Yeah. If I was already chartered and I'm sitting here and I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I should recharter. Can I, what, under the new framework, just to make sure, is that it? Is that something that people could, should, would do?
So what we did when we changed to the new framework and the new process, we contacted all of our chartered members and we said, hey folks, this is what's changed. We're not going to ask you to reassess because you've already been through this really rigorous process. But what we want you to know is that this is what the people of Aotearoa, people within the HR community, this is the standard that they will look for with chartered members now. So this is what you need to be upholding. And if you feel like there's any development or there is any sort of assistance or upskilling that you need to feel confident in representing that, then come to us. We can sort of help you through that. So, we're I don't want to detract from the old process. It was great. It did a really good job. It was the first sort of thing that we had in New Zealand for HR professionals to accredit themselves, and it's we want to kind of maintain the flow of that. But so it's not necessarily about getting recharted. It's about saying what's in the new framework, what's different. I suppose one of the areas where we were conscious that it was going to be a bit more of a not a stretch, but maybe an area of unfamiliarity for some practitioners was the core capability around Te Ao Māori, which we knew was a new one. And so we had lots of debate and well, not debate, but conversation, korero, in the development of the framework about do we have that as a separate core capability? In essence, the other five of the six core capabilities are all demonstrating, Te Ao Māori values, but having it as it's sort of a separate value meant that we could wrap support around it. We could call it out as being really important. So I suppose that's kind of the one area where we're helping some professionals feel confident in what it looks like to be a chartered member and to demonstrate their experience, particularly within that core capability. And at a leads level, that looks like, increasing or working on initiatives that increase Māori representation in the workplace, really advocating for Māori. So, it's a thing that lots of HR professionals already do. They just need to wrap some more support, understanding around how they can be a really good activator in that space.
Brilliant. Well, sounds fantastic. Anything else anyone needs to know if they remember and they've listened through all of this and think this is great? Here's a chance to plug or promote something else from HRNZ. Anything at all?
I think, I just really, I'd love to see our chartered member and our emerging professional cohort grow. I think it's such a cool thing. We've got this community of people who are super passionate about HR. They love it. They want it to represent all of the good stuff. And, for us, the framework and kind of our ethos, our reason for being is about helping HR professionals develop all the skills they need to lead into tomorrow. And we think this framework does a really cool job of helping steward people through that. So, um, you know, look at where you're sitting on the framework. We've got a self-assessment tool on the website. Have a look, see where you're sitting, engage with the path. If you've got any questions or you're not sure whether you're at the right level for either emerging professional or chartering, get in touch. We'd love to be able to help people sort of through that process and help them get the recognition that they deserve. I think is the kind of the key.
Brilliant. Love a self-assessment tool. Did a
Oh, don't we
self-assessment for
all?
narcissism the other day. I scored in the very high 90s, which is probably why I'm telling you. Hey, look, it's a really brilliant initiative, and I know it's going to be a real sort of a sea change within sort of the HR community. For people who do want more information, you can go to the lovely new website, hrnz.org.nz/professional-accreditation. Pretty much everything you need to know there, or you can get in touch with the team at the office. Thanks, Amy.
Thanks, Rada. And go charter him.
Go chartering. Do you get a certificate?
Yes, you do. Yep, beautiful certificate.
Right. Wow.
Lovely, gold foiled stamp on it. Well worth it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does it
If
come
you need it any
framed,
other
or do you have to
reason,
buy your own frame?
absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. But you put in the effort. You want to reflect that. You want to hang it on the
You do.
wall
You
and
do. Exactly. Brilliant. Stick it on you, print it out, laminate, and put it in your CV.
stick it
Brilliant.
on your
Amy
fridge.
Clarke. Manager Professional Standards and Development at HRNZ, telling us everything we need to know about the new standards around being chartered. All right, from me for now, that is HR Chats with me, Radar. Thanks to Amy Clarke. We'll chat again at some stage in the future. If there is anything you would like to hear us chatting about, let Tina know. She can organise that. And there is now, I'm going to say, quite an extensive back catalogue of HR Chats covering all manner of things. Pop into the archives, have a listen as you go about your daily business. Take care.